So, welcome to my third video supporting my article called Bach's Ideas on Fingerings for the Cello. I'm going to talk about bowings and fingerings in a little more general approach in this short video. One of the most important features of the historical informed interpretations were for sure the bowings. The original bowings can bring the performer close to Bach's ideas of phrasing, tempi, and dynamics. But Bach's manuscripts for the cello suites have not survived, so scientists as well as musicians have done a huge effort to get closer to the possible bowings for the Bach cello suites. And this for a good reason. The bowings obviously meant a lot to Bach. If we watch the solo sonatas and partitas for violin, the autograph will display a wonderful, clear, and consequently written bowings. For instance, in a big, large fugue, every time the theme comes back, it has exactly the same bowing as when it started. So if we want to perform Bach's ideas of phrasing and to make his music speak as close as possible to his voice, then follow the bowings. When you play a string instrument, and maybe specifically the cello, the fingerings are equally important, both stylistically and practically. When we know more or less everything about Bach's bowings, it's sad that we know nothing, close to nothing about his fingerings generally, because there are no fingerings marked in any manuscripts, and very little of his manuscript, and very little in the Baroque repertoire and such. So we had to go to treatises and books and articles written at the time, and the conclusion has in many years been that in contrast to the romantic Bach playing, we should now try to place our left hand as in the lowest possible position and using as many open strings as possible. But Bach didn't always agree, and this is one of the most interesting things I have found in my investigation of the discordance of writing in Suite number 5. I will give you an example. It could be the beginning of the courante, number 5. As you see, I changed position twice, only in the first bar. This is Bach's indication, and you can read that because he writes everything in the first bar on the D string. Normally we would say that when we wanted to play historical informed, we would change the string instead of changing the position. It would look a little bit like this. Let me think. Change the string, change the string, change the string. A little more difficult than the bow, and to my memory too. So this is how we would do it if we didn't have Bach Suite number 5, discordance of writing. I'll dig much more into that in the next video, number 4. But before that, I need to say a little bit about the cello's fingerings in general. I'll have to tune the cello again. must plan the fingerings on the cello more than on other instruments, actually. If you play the viola da gamba or you play the guitar, they will be tuned in fourths. They both have a terz somewhere in the middle. And because they are only in fourths and not in fifths, they can play a chromatic scale in 2 octaves easily without changing position or stretching at all. Just like this, just over the string like this. On the cello it's different. I play you a chromatic scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 changes of position. If you have a violin and you want to play in, say, E flat, it's all in the hand. There are stretches very easily done on the violin because the string lengths are shorter. On a cello, you have to do 2 stretches and two changes of position. That makes it much more important to plan the fingering than if you play the violin. Listen, stretch, stretch, change position, change position. So, we have to plan the changing of position a lot. There are very few it's work without planning fingerings in the suites and in the rest of our big repertoire as well. So why not check out what Bach actually planned for us? In the next video we will check what we can deduct, specifically interesting spots in Bach's discordative writing. You can consider the discordative writing as his translating a fingering into a different top string. See you there, I hope.